But yeah, you just kind of put that promise in front of the users where they could be the next person that's a co-creator of whatever this brand is that's being created. So when this thing is launched, or if it's a movie or a book, whatever it is, they're now not just co-creator of it, but they are invested in it and have a reason to be an evangelist for this new product.
Can you talk a little bit about Tumblrity and why it sort of desperate mind goes down all the time?
Well, that's actually
and how you can do what you're talking about and create this snowball effect and have a surge of views on one day, which is oh so exciting. But then build those relationships to maintain that, make sure that your content is keeping people interested. How do you build that fine line between getting 50 new visitors in a day or 500 new visitors a day and then maintaining them and having them back?
Okay, so actually, I would say it's this one very, very important notion, and this is actually something I didn't really do a great job of pointing out with user-generated content stuff. I'll jump back in a second to what Tumblrity is and how popular pages on the web generally work. But there is what we see, and what we generally see with the people who are regularly jumping up to the top, is a regular stream of generally consistent, really good content. So that sounds like an impossible task. The real trick is all you really need to do is be the leader in something or enough things that you're able to grab a little bit of mind share. Then if you can quickly spin the thing into a curated channel where you're not author but you're curator, those are those like UGC channels I was kind of talking about before. This is why you're fat and those things. This is why your fat kept gaining momentum even after that original surge, because they were regularly spitting out this great content. And we generally see that those people, like, this is why your fat is still, I don't know if they're top, I mean, they were top 10 for a while. They're probably, I don't know about today, actually. I'd be curious to see where they are. But they were in the top 100 from, they launched 3 months ago. They've been in the top 100 for a while after that. Just because, it feels like everyone on the web saw this thing, the first week it launched. But there are a lot of people out there, and it takes a while for this thing, for it to hit every node and for something to hit even a mainstream audience, really. I mean, they drove traffic from whole new audiences the day they were featured on CNN, that kind of stuff. So it seems to me like the real trick, at least the guys we've seen pull this off, seed something that spreads quickly, takes whatever audience they can grab, which generally is a lot less than you think, but it can still be enough. You grab any audience you can there, all those people that follow that channel, anybody that subscribes to you wherever you are. You rarely get email addresses, but you might get Twitter and Tumblr followers, which is often enough. And then you just keep pushing good stuff out there, even if it's not your own. So that's where you just play curator and you say, if people are submitting stuff to you, then you're in business. Otherwise, you go and you do some digging and you find the best stuff around the web and push that to the top. Some of our most popular users, in fact, one of our users who is, where is she? She's in Aruba. She's just, I don't even really know her deal. She's just like wildly, wildly popular on Tumblr. And all she does is spend, just because, actually some of our most popular users are, like, they work at internet cafes, or their jobs basically are built around the web, so they spend all day online anyway, and all they're doing is just pushing out great content that they're finding. Often that's enough. So if you find, it's also a great way, by the way, to keep your online presence positive and on message, I guess. Just, you see that, push out that original stuff. Whatever people are saying about you, the only stuff that you pick to push out every day is the most positive stuff you find in the community. That's easier to do, I think, than you think, which is people get on Twitter. JetBlue gets on Twitter, for example. Actually, they're a bad example. Bank of America gets on Twitter, and all of a sudden, everybody who's saying anything negative about Bank of America, they're apologizing. It's like they're using this public forum to apologize, basically. It turns negative so quickly. JetBlue, on the other hand, shows up there. Sure, people will bitch about JetBlue every now and then. The stuff that they're replying to, first of all, the stuff they're generally replying with to something negative is spun in a positive way. It's like, sorry, that was shitty, we'll give you free headphones on your next flight. Like, whatever they can do, they just try and spin it into something generally positive. The really clever stuff they do, though, is they just ignore it because they don't have any obligation to respond to negative voices. Instead, the stuff that they respond to, instead the stuff that they promote or retweet or make light of, those are the positive, witty, clever, fun, nice things that are coming out of the community. So I think you just start that channel rolling, basically. You see the original content, and then you start pulling stuff in and pushing that out to remain active.
Yeah, it seems like, if you're United Airlines, it's like you can't beat United Beats guitars. There's just no way So you have to. So what you're saying is you have to like figure out well, what's the thing that you can do. You know, what can you deliver that's going to make people forget this huge negative wealth that's out there.
I think generally people do. I mean, we have to. I think this is pretty generic PR stuff, but we always have to remind ourselves, like any time where we don't like something, the way our product is represented, or we don't like something that someone said. It's like it's so fleeting that all that really matters are the messages that you're constantly driving home, and you have so much more. Generally, your brand will have so much more share of voice that, or so much more mind share at the very least. At least in connection to your brand, right? The stuff that you're saying represents you much more than the stuff people are saying about you, which isn't always how it feels these days, right? It's overwhelming when all these people on Twitter are like dissing on you or your product or something like that. But generally, the stuff that you're pushing out there is what most people will end up seeing, and if it's mostly positive, it means the stuff they're going to be saying is positive, and it means that you won't have those negative connotations when those people show up. That was the Bank of America effect, I thought, where people went to start following Bank of America on Twitter, and it was literally just your Twitter stream flooded with apologies from Bank of America. It's like, what?
So one of the things that I do is I recommend like a strategy for the authors, and I always think they should have a home base and then these outposts that lead back to the home base. Do you think that Tumblr can be customized enough to be? I mean, I've seen an occasional Tumblr blog being customized, like Gary's, but is it easy enough to customize it that it can be a viable home base for somebody?
That's definitely what we'd like to be, and I think the Tumblr's gotten a lot more robust. Hopefully, I actually bet it's a very good fit for a lot of you guys, I think. But it's not always going to be the case. There are going to be cases where what you're doing should live on a video site. It should live on a more robust social site. It should live on a Facebook fan page. But generally, I think, I'm certainly in support of the idea that your brand lives in one place, and that's where you pull in all of the best voices from all around the web. And you view things like Facebook fan pages, Twitter, Ning, anything on the web really. Any other places where there is audience, just view it as points of syndication and distribution, I think. So.
Because right now, how Tumblr, if you go and you click on most of the different templates, it's not really set up. You can't put like the different verticals, like your bio, like the static information that you need to keep there. You have to know a little.
That's stuff we're getting better at. Yeah, I mean that's just stuff we were originally designed for individuals, so that's a new application, and people have figured out how to do it. So Gary Vaynerchuk's pages are a really good example of how you can do that on Tumblr.
Can the average person do it, or do you need?
Not easily enough yet, but actually very soon, hopefully. Yeah. But yeah, I think though it seems to me, and this is stuff that we're just figuring out now, but the syndication of content. It makes it much easier to just think about Twitter and Facebook and those things as just audience that you need to syndicate to. You just need to make sure that your voice is in front of. It's not a problem if it's redundant with whatever your main channel is. So I think it's better I think it's like, as we start thinking about social media, you quickly get overwhelmed with this idea that we gotta be on Twitter and we need to be doing promotions on Facebook and we need to have some presence on YouTube. It's pretty easy actually. I think your videos go on YouTube. So they're automatically distributed there. You're embedding them on your blog. Those blog posts get pushed to Twitter. They update your Facebook page, and wherever people want to interact with you, you interact with them. But basically, it's all just really syndication, I think. Yeah.
So I think we probably better stop there. Unfortunately, we have to be out of here by 2. It's very clear about that. So thank you so much, David, for coming.
For everybody, go to Meetup. The opening for the next event with Andrew Speakus will be August 1st. The event's going to take place on September 8th. Another lunch. We'll be announcing Seth Godin as well via Meetup, and some of the other seminars, like the SEO seminar, as well as the happy hour via Meetup. So anyway, glad you could all come, and thanks again. Hope to see you at the next event.